The second meeting will be held on Tuesday, the 20th at 5:30 at the American Legion Post 71 at the Philip Gardner All Veterans Center at 12:30 North Scenic Highway in Lake Wales, next to Patton Tires. And on other VA news, the veteran of the day for the Army Air Force was veteran Robert Marcy Alexander. Robert served with the 25th Infantry Division during World War II. We honor his service. Seasonal affective disorder is a condition associated with feeling sad or blue during certain times of the year. It is a disorder that triggers symptoms of depression, most commonly in the fall or winter. In the fall and winter there is less sunlight, hence it is sometimes called winter depression. Today's Veteran of the Day is Army veteran Jacqueline Renee Holly Heights. Jacqueline served from 1983 to 1980 as a petroleum supply specialist. We honor her service. The Veterans Legacy Program, Sergeant William H. Tompkins, Buffalo Soldier, Trailblazer, and American Hero. He showed extraordinary courage in the face of the enemy. At the time, he believed that he was just doing his duty as a soldier, but his actions saved the lives of his comrades and helped change the way the country perceived African American soldiers. As has been mentioned, African Americans in time of war reception on February 21st. Washington District of Columbia in celebration of African American History Month. The Center for Minority Veterans, in partnership with the Blacks in Government and Congressional Black Caucus, CBC Brain Trust, will host a reception at the African American Civil War Museum. There will also be a luncheon on the 27th, African American History Month. The VA launches a welcome kit to guide veterans to the benefits and services they've earned. VA's onboarding process can be overwhelming at times. Veterans who have visited a VA outreach booth, VA eligibility office, or have gone through a transition assistance program know that the VA has no shortage of technical handouts, benefits, books, and material. And Alaska VA is making progress after taking over choice referrals. Alaska's 72,000 veterans will continue to receive care under a program that the State Office of the Department of Veterans Affairs took pains to reconfigure over the past 18 months. The Veterans Choice Program received an additional $2.1 billion in December, just weeks prior to the 3-day government shutdown. Also, the Department of Veterans Affairs Veteran Health Administration is seeking nominations of qualified candidates to be considered for appointment as a member of the Research Advisory Committee on Gulf War Veteran Illnesses. Nominations for membership on the committee must be received no later than 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 1st, 2018. And on some Christian news coming down the pike, A Catholic priest is very upset that 14 Catholic senators voted recently against the ban on late-term abortions. He believes the senators ought to be excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Today is the day for their bishops to issue a formal statement acknowledging that these men and women have publicly denied their Catholic faith, and if not formally, then have informally excommunicated themselves. Father Dwight Longenegger wrote in response to their votes, so 14 Catholic senators voted for this barbaric, inhuman practice to still be legal in the United States and thereby assured its continuation. Since their offenses is public, it should be acknowledged publicly, and their pastors should publicly rebuke them and deny them access to the sacraments, he added. If the bishops and priests do not do this, the faithful in their parishes and dioceses should rise up and blizzard them with letters, emails, and the one thing that will really make them sit up and take notice, withholding their contributions. He further stated, I'm absolutely shocked this month to learn that the bill to outlaw abortions past 20 weeks have been defeated in the U.S. Senate. Even more shocking is the fact that 14 senators who identify as Catholics voted against the bill in effect, giving the nod to late-term abortions. Even worse is the realization that if these men and women had voted for the bill, it would have passed. Therefore, these 14 have ensured that this barbaric procedure is still legal in America. The names of the 14 Catholic senators were put on the site. Maria Cantwell from Washington, Susan Collins from Maine, Dick Durbin from Illinois, Kristen Gillibrand from New York, Heidi Heidkamp from North Dakota, Tim Kaine from Virginia, Patrick Leary from Vermont, Ed Markey from Massachusetts, Catherine Cortez Masto from Nevada, Claire McCaskill from Missouri, Bob Menendez from New Jersey, Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, Patty Murray from Washington, and Jack Reed from Rhode Island. The evangelical church in Puerto Rico won't be the same after Hurricane Maria. Even congregations that have resumed their regular gatherings after repairing buildings and regaining power are still missing a major part of church members. It's estimated 400,000 of the island's more than 3 million residents have left the U.S. territory for the mainland since the record-setting September storm. Like every other aspect of Puerto Rican life, church attendance has taken a hit. Spanish-speaking congregations in the States have welcomed the Puerto Ricans who have fled, particularly those in Orlando, where the Great Migration is expected to transform the city. Of all the people who moved to the continental United States from the Caribbean island in the past 4 months, more than 300,000 settled in Florida alone, according to the Sunshine State's Division of Emergency Management. In addition to Florida, Puerto Ricans are settling in New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Texas. The majority of those that have left seem to indicate a desire to remain within the continental United States rather than return to the islands. Many have lost their homes and possessions and are simply seeking to start over. Those remaining in Puerto Rico face spiritual and emotional burdens on top of the island's ongoing infrastructure and financial needs. Marco Rubio, a Florida Republican senator and 2016 presidential candidate, spoke up this week to say Congress needs to do more to ensure disaster relief continues in Puerto Rico. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, clarified that the government will keep sending supplies. Televangelist Pat Robinson is recovering after suffering an embolic stroke. In an online news release, the Christian Broadcasting Network, which Robinson founded, says he was rushed to the nearest stroke center Friday after a family member recognized the onset of symptoms. The release says that within minutes of receiving clot-busting drugs, Robinson was awake, responsive, and able to move all limbs. And on a final note, pro-abortion feminists ignore female genital mutilation threatening 68 million women. Feminist news outlets that claim to support women are overlooking a human rights violation threatening millions of women and young girls around the world. Tuesday, February 6, marked the International Day of Zero Tolerance for female genital mutilation, while general news outlets, government officials, and social media recognize the day. Feminists and women's news sites remain silent, even as they claim to champion women. Some of those sites included Bustle, Cosmopolitan, Jezebel, and Teen Vogue. For his part, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres slammed FGM as a gross violation of human rights of women and girls. Without considered accelerated action, a further 68 million girls could be subjected to this harmful practice by 2030. And according to the AP report, the United Nations Population Fund projects that the estimated 3.9 million girls subjected to genital cutting every year will rise to 4.6 million by 2030 due to expected population growth unless urgent action is taken. And according to the World Health Organization, FGM presents no health benefits but threatens lasting physical and emotional pain. FGM victims who have spoken out against the practice agree. It's a human rights violation haunting 200 million women worldwide. UNICEF Executive Director Henrietta H. Fore and the UNFPA Executive Director Dr. Natalia Kanem also released a statement. They define FGM as a violent act that causes infection, disease, childbirth complications, and even death. A cruel practice that inflicts lasting emotional harm and preys on the most vulnerable. Violations of human rights and a drag on the well-being of communities and economies. By 2030, more than a third of all births worldwide will be in the 30 countries where female genital mutilation is practiced. They warned, but they also hope that with increased investment and redoubled political commitment, with greater community encouragement and more empowered women and girls, it is a race that can be won. In a press release, recognizing the day, the U.S. government's FBI and ICE condemned the heinous activity that happens with disturbing regularity. Female genital